Even with all of our current technology and intelligence, early civilizations made discoveries and devised procedures that we still can't completely replicate. Welcome back to Ancient History, and in today's video we'll be seeing the top 10 mysterious technologies that scientists can't explain. Number 10. The Greek Fire. Greek fire is an intriguing historical technology since it sounds wonderful, was entirely genuine, yet its composition is unknown. Between the 600s and the 1200s, the Byzantine Empire largely employed this antique weapon. It was made out of a pipe that was put aboard Byzantine ships and sprayed a thick, gel-like fire onto opposing vehicles. Dozens of pretty trustworthy sources testified to its existence, but by the 1300s, all mentions of this weapon had ceased. The formula is assumed to have been forgotten due to either the empire's progressive disintegration or its loss of land containing the requisite components, but Greek fire still remains a mystery. Most specialists believe it was caused by its capacity to burn on the surface of water and the difficulty in extinguishing it. Number 9. The Lycurgus Cup. The intricate ornamental glass cage enclosing the 4th century Lycurgus cup, portraying a fabled scenario of King Lycurgus, would be a remarkable work of its own. Beyond its surface beauty, the Lycurgus cup's fundamental composition is a true antique marvel that still has scholars scratching their brains today. The glass in this cup is dichroic, meaning it appears red when viewed from behind and green when it's lit from the front. There are just a few additional examples of this phenomenon from the historical period that are as massive, complete, and dramatic in their color disparity. This is due to the fact that the procedure employed to produce the dichroic effect necessitates the careful and measured manipulation of gold and silver nanoparticles. Because nanotechnology was likely unknown to the Romans, having only discovered it in the 1970s, archaeologists are left with the disappointing notion that the dichroism was generated by chance. Number 8. The Oxford Electric Bell. Unlike the majority of the entries on the list, scientists could probably find out how the Oxford Electric Bell works if they tried. The concern is that it would be the end of the bell's 181-year experiment, which shows no indication of slowing down. Since 1840, the bell has been ringing. 2 dry pile batteries, built by London companies Watkins and Hill, power this swinging instrument. Since basic batteries should have died long ago, yet the bell's batteries' unusual composition has kept them running strong. Though scientists are keen to discover the composition, the bell is one of the world's longest-running experiments, and stopping it prematurely would be too costly. With that, we have seen a few technologies that scientists just can't explain. For more of that, subscribe to our channel and continue watching the rest of the video without skipping. Number 7. Nepenthe. The ancient Greeks and Egyptians utilized nepenthe to induce enjoyment and alleviate pain. Both history and mythology from the time period mention the medicine by name, which translates to that which chased away sorrow, or more precisely, anti-sorrow. It's obvious that nepenthe was some kind of antidepressant or opioid, but historians aren't sure which one or whether we know what it was. There were several theories on the actual nature of nepenthe. Wormwood, hemp, and opium, the most frequent, are among them. Number 6. Maiden's Tower. There are various legends about the tower's name. An oracle predicted that the emperor's much-loved daughter would be murdered by a venomous snake on her 18th birthday, according to one vision. To protect her, the emperor had a tower erected in the Bosphorus and had kept her within to keep snakes away. Her father was her sole regular visitor. On her 18th birthday, the emperor surprised her with a basket of exotic fruits, thrilled that he had been able to defy the prophecy. However, an asp hidden amid the fruit bit the princess, who died in her father's arms precisely as the oracle had foreseen, and thus the name Maiden's Tower. Number 5. The Sculptured Rocks of Rothenov. The guy behind this remarkable carved cliff in Brittany is Abbé Adolphe Julien Fauré, a priest from the Breton town of Rotheneux. After having a stroke at the age of 55, which rendered him deaf and dumb, he resigned his position as a priest and went to Rothenov. This is where he began producing sculptures, many of which were made of beach rock. Locals near Rothenur dubbed him the Hermit because he spent the last 15 years of his life, roughly 1894 to 1910, alone, making these harsh masterpieces. A great achievement. Among the sculptures are fishermen, pirates, and smugglers, as well as fabled sea animals and monsters. The French adventurer and navigator Jacques Cartier, as well as notable Breton saints, appear prominently in Rothenur. Number 4. Unfinished steel. Let's move on to something more truly mind-blowing in terms of both sophistication and scale. The Yangshan Quarry in China, which is where most of the stone used in Nanjing's great monuments was quarried. Not all of the stone quarried, cut and shaped here was moved elsewhere, though some of it, such as the colossal unfinished steel, is still here. According to tradition, the Yongli Emperor ordered the fabrication of the steel during the 15th century because he planned to put it in a monument to honor his father at the Ming Xiaoling tomb. Workers got around to carving off the head, base, and body of the steel before appearing to give up. We have almost no idea how they could have carved something so enormous, and there's zero chance that they'd ever have been able to transport it. We can't help but wonder what convinced them that such a thing might have been possible in the first place. The body is 30 feet wide, 15 feet thick, and 150 feet tall. They were probably a little overwhelmed by the size of their creation. Number 3. The JAIN rock carvings. The dating of the Gopashal rock-cut chain monuments in Madhya Pradesh, India, involves quite a bit of scientific conjecture. The carvings, which are sometimes known as the Gopshal Bhava Jain monuments, may have been created as recently as the 15th century, or they may have been carved out as recently as the 7th century. The fact that scientists can't be any more precise than that is a sign of how little we know about these lovely decorations which awe visitors. The sculptures are completely naked, which is typical of Jain iconography. There are other Jain rock temples in India, but none of them have as massive statues as this one. It almost seems as if Jains wanted to make the entire cliff into one huge shrine. Number 2. The Tomb of ABSALOM. Our next historical oddity is likewise well known. It goes by several names, but the majority of people call it the Tomb of ABSALOM. If you like, you can refer to it as Absalom's Pillar. It's located in the Kidron Valley of Jerusalem. The origins of this massive, rock-cut tomb, which is distinguished by its conical roof, are unknown. The connection to Absalom, the son of King David, stems from historical legend. However, scientists and archaeologists today dispute this connection. According to legend, Absalom lived and died some 3,000 years ago, yet the tomb couldn't have been constructed before the 1st century. A tomb may be found in the monument's lower portion. The lower part presumably honors whomever was buried there, as well as the other buried in the nearby caves, while the upper portion is a type of funerary monument called a nephesh. The burial room has 3 graves, but we don't know who is actually interred in any of them. We may never learn who the persons who commissioned the construction of Absalom's pillars really were. And finally, at number 1, the underground church. Although we've previously gone to France in this video, we're returning there right now to show you an amazing underground church. For obvious reasons, it's much more difficult to build a church underground than it is above ground. But perhaps ancient builders saw working on such a project as the pinnacle of their faith for whatever the reason. Their labor resulted in the construction of the underground church of Saint Jean, which is in Abertour, Cardona. It's the biggest subterranean church in all of Europe, and according to scientists and archaeologists, the entire church was manually excavated into a hillside of solid rock in the 12th century. Given the techniques employed to build it, the church design is somewhat rustic, yet the magnitude is astounding. A hand-carved staircase allowed visitors to ascend their entire back wall of the church and claimed a stunning aerial view of the location. With that, we have come to an end of this episode. Want to see more mysterious discoveries by scientists? Then subscribe to Ancient History and always stay up to date with the most shocking discoveries on our channel. Watch some other videos from our playlist too, and we'll see you in the next video.